What's up, everybody? Sean back with you guys for Week 2 NFL picks. This week, I'm just going to run down a quick list of the games that I like, and I'm going to give it to you how I have it listed in Yahoo's confidence points ranking. So if you're unfamiliar with Yahoo's confidence points, you assign all of the games a number from 1 all the way down to 16, as there are 16 games this weekend. And 16 basically means that you think the game is going to be a slam dunk. 1 means, hey, I don't know who's going to win this game. So we're about minutes from kickoff for the Thursday night game, so I do apologize. But I only gave this 1 confidence point, so I don't have much confidence in this game. But I'm taking Houston plus 6.5 over Cincinnati. I'm not saying I think Houston's going to win that game, but Cincinnati looked pretty bad against the Ravens. Dalton threw a lot of picks. Deshaun Watson's a rookie coming in, making his first start. Houston's supposed to have a pretty good defense, and I think Watson's an upgrade over Savage, so let's go with Houston plus 6.5. I gave 2 confidence points, which means I'm also not very confident if you're not gathering that so far. I like Indianapolis plus 8.5 over Arizona. That's a really tough game. I can see Arizona blowing them out, but at the same time, supposedly Brissett might start a quarterback who I think will also be an upgrade over Tolzien. And Arizona looked really bad last week, and they're without David Johnson. I like Philadelphia. Nope. I'll just read through the games this way. I like Philadelphia plus 4.5 over Kansas City. It's an interesting match as Andy Reid goes head-to-head with Doug Peterson for the first time in their coaching careers. Obviously, Andy Reid was a coach for Philadelphia for many years and actually brought Doug Peterson in to be the starting quarterback his first year in Philadelphia. Doug Peterson was the starter as Donovan McNabb got ready to go out and become the starting quarterback for many years to come. Reid eventually brought Peterson with him on his coaching staff in Kansas City. And now, of course, Peterson came back in. His offense reminds me a lot of Andy Reid's. Their play calling style is very similar, so it's going to be an interesting game. I think both coaches will do a great job preparing for it. But I do like Philadelphia plus 4.5. It'll be a tight game, though. It'll be interesting, too. I like New Orleans plus 7 over New England. I gave the Philadelphia game 8 confidence points. So it was 8 confidence points. I like New Orleans plus 7 over the New England Patriots. I gave that 3 confidence points. I think the Patriots are going to continue their downward spiral here, and I wouldn't be surprised if Brady doesn't get hurt at some point during the year or get pulled to have Garoppolo come in. And I think the Saints are going to pick back up and get their offense going again after a poor showing Monday night against a tough Vikings defense. I like Minnesota plus 7 over Pittsburgh. I gave that 14 confidence points. I think Sam Bradford had a really great game on Monday Night Football. Pittsburgh didn't look so great against Cleveland. So I think that Minnesota can definitely hang with Pittsburgh here, and they have a great defense to kind of keep that Pittsburgh offense in check. And we're getting 7 points, which is a lot. So let's take Minnesota plus the points. I like Tampa Bay minus 7.5, according to Yahoo. If you can get that line down to 7, run with it at 7. They're playing Chicago. I gave this 15 confidence points. I think Tampa Bay is going to be really good this year. I think Jameis Winston and Mike Evans particularly are going to have a great pairing for this year. I think they're going to just tear the league up. Chicago isn't very good. They kept it close with Atlanta last week, which I was kind of surprised about. But I still don't think Chicago is a very good team, and I think Tampa Bay runs away with that one. Buffalo's plus 8.5 over Carolina. I give that 12 confidence points. The Bills looked pretty good last week. Carolina looked decent. I thought they could have blown San Francisco out a little more than they did. But I think it's going to be a tight game. I think 8.5 is a lot. I think Carolina wins that game, but that's just too many points. Again, I gave that 12 confidence points. Bills plus 8.5. I like Tennessee. They're minus 2.5 against Jacksonville. I give that 11 confidence points. I think Tennessee's a much better team. I think Jacksonville's first week showing was a little bit over-exaggerated. I don't think they'll do that every week. I think they're going to be a bad team this year. Maybe I'm wrong. They did look pretty good last week. My next game I like is Cleveland plus 9 over Baltimore. Of course, I like Baltimore to win that game. That's a 10 confidence points pick. So I do think, again, Baltimore wins, but Cleveland plus 9 is a lot. Kaiser looked pretty good. So did Corey Coleman. I have him on my fantasy team. I like Oakland minus 15 against the New York Jets. I gave that 6 confidence points. It's a lot of points, but Oakland's a much better team than the Jets. I like Miami plus 4.5 over the Chargers. I gave that game 13 confidence points. I like Miami. I think they have a good team this year. I think Jay Cutler's going to have a really good year. I think Landry and Parker are going to have good years. Ajayi's going to have a good year. I think even Julius Thomas is going to have a good year. So I'm actually pretty excited to see that game. I do like the Chargers as well, but I think Miami actually wins this game outright, and I like them plus the 4.5. So if you want to take Miami money line, that might be a good play. I like Denver, who was apparently a pick'em at Dallas. I think Denver wins that game. I gave it 16 confidence points. Again, I expect Dallas to regress this year. They looked decent against the Giants, but they didn't look dominating by any means, and the Giants' offense just looked pathetic. So let's go with Denver here, who looked really good on Monday night against the Chargers. Again, 16 confidence points, my highest of the week. I like the Rams to beat Washington. They're -2.5. I gave it 4 confidence points. The Rams looked really good last week. Washington had a lot of missed opportunities with Kirk Cousins against the Eagles. He overthrew a lot of balls, missed a lot of receivers. He's going to look to bounce back in this game, so I don't really love this game, but I do like the Rams +4. Perfect time. You're going to make the video this week because I'm not editing.
Yeah.
I like Seattle.
I figured you were running late.
I like Seattle -14 points. My buddy just arrived here. I like Seattle -14 points against San Francisco. I gave that 7 confidence points. There he is.
Hey.
I
What's
like
up,
you let
YouTube?
him bug in too. I like Green Bay +2.5 over Atlanta. I give that 5 confidence points. I don't think Atlanta looked very good last week against Chicago, although they might bounce back this week. I am playing Matt Ryan in fantasy, so I wouldn't be surprised if he tears up. And finally, I like Detroit, who was +3.5 over the Giants. The Giants looked pathetic against Dallas. Detroit looked pretty good against Arizona. I gave that 9 confidence points. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week, and I will see you guys next week.